Bill Potter, former Army lieutenant and Vietnam veteran, joins me. Also, former Navy SEAL Pete Scobell. Bill and Pete are the co-founders of R4 Alliance, a veteran support group. Also joining is a good friend of mine, former Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell. He is the lone survivor, the author of the book Lone Survivor, soon to be a new movie, and the author of the book Service. Okay, so let's take this, because this is the question I get from all my New York friends. Well, why would he ever take him out to the gun range? Because that's crazy. Marcus?
Well, from what I understand, Chris had been having a couple of conversations with his mother when he went up to pick his kids up and drop his kids off, and he was saying, hey, you know, my son is an ex-Marine. He's been cooped up in the house. He just wants to get out. He's been having some problems and stuff like that. He's like, do you mind hanging out with him, spending some time with him and whatnot? And Chris was like, sure, yeah, you know, I'll do that. And Chris had just gotten a couple of new weapon systems, and that's the way Chris kind of blew off some steam. He'd go to the range and fire some weapons, and he just invited the kid over. He's like, hey, you know, you're an ex-Marine. You want to go? It's probably been a while since you shot some weapons. You know, I know you've been cooped up in the house. We're going to go down there, me and my buddy. Why don't you come along with us?
It's kind of like, I mean, first of all, there's nothing that blows off steam like firing weapons. It is the best. The second part is you know, when you fall off a horse, right? You get back on the horse, but not if the person is like, not if they have all broken ribs and, you know, broken bones, but he didn't know that he was broken up inside. Yeah. Other than just, can you explain? Because you said earlier, don't say PTSD. Can you explain what this is? Because it's not the same as those people who said, I saw the World Trade Center fall, right?
Right. I mean, post-traumatic stress disorder, the D is very, I don't think it doesn't do it justice. It gives people the ability to label. Stress is stress, and post-traumatic stress is, you know, really, you can call it shell shock. You can call it, what's it? Dysregulation of your parasympathetic sympathetic nervous system. You can call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's all the same stuff, and it's really
But it's not the same. Is it the same as somebody who's witnessed? I see a car crash and they label me with, you know, PTS, and it's not the same as what you went through, is it?
No, it's different for everybody. I mean, and I think everybody handles stress differently. And I think the problem is when they're coming back, a lot of these veterans and the doctors, and they're talking about, all right, he's got post-traumatic stress disorder. It's like, yeah, you know, I've been through a stressful situation. Of course, I'm going to have some stress. I had stress my whole life. Getting through high school was stressful.
Every doctor I ever go to, they say, "How's your stress level?" And I'm like, "What do you think? I'm building a network, and George Soros hates my guts. How do you think my stress is?" But that's the way it is. Yeah. That's the way I live. When I first met you, could you please tell a little bit of your story? Because you would go out to the car and you wouldn't even know why you got in the car.
Yeah, I drove to work one day, and I think that's what kind of tipped it off for me. Was I drove to work. I didn't know how I got there. I basically was sitting in the parking lot. It was a Sunday, and I was looking around, and just a little confused, and then my cell phone texted, and it was my wife, and it was, hey, where are you? You went to the grocery store, which was 10 minutes up the road, and work was 30 minutes away. And that was the moment when I came back, and I came home, and I didn't tell her where I was. We fought because...
Where were you?
Where were you? Well, I don't know where I was.
Right.
And that was when, you know, I started realizing, hey, there's something wrong. You ask for help, and everyone goes, well, you're just like everybody else. Okay. What's that? You go to the psych and you say, hey, I'm having some cognitive issues. Well, what's a cognitive issue? Like, you know, driving places I don't know. I can't even read an email. I can't pay attention long enough to get through an email. I've got splitting headaches. And they say, well, what was the event? You go, I don't know what the event was. And then, you know, it pushed me to the point where I resigned. And it wasn't until, you know, I finally hit that breaking point where I fought with my wife, got in the car, and I drove to his brother's house, and I just dumped on him. And Morgan very nonchalantly just said, oh, yeah, you got TBI, you need to go to NICO. I was like, what's TBI? What's NICO? What is this? And that was, you know, that was the tipping point for me, because it was an answer. Well, what is it? And then it became that's You know, that was the tipping. Then I finally asked for, hey, I need some more help. Where is this place? How do I get that help? I kind of felt empowered because there was an answer that was out there, and I just got to go find it now.
When you told me that story, it really pissed me off because you're going for help and that nobody recognized it, and you know, the red tape in the military's got to be ugly, and you don't necessarily want to tell everybody everything, and nobody was there. You had to go to his brother. I met your brother. I'd go to your brother for medical advice faster than you, but that's a scary trip going to their house.
But it's, you know, you asked earlier, it's the same thing. I haven't seen Marcus in a while. We walk in the room and I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable sitting on the couch with him. I feel comfortable. That's why I spend time with Bill. You have an instant kind of, well, last night or a couple nights ago when Stubby was on, and you asked, hey, if you were, you know, pick anybody in this room to go to combat with, and I immediately said, I picked Stubby, even though he's wounded, beat up, blown up. There's an understanding of what Stubby's going to do for me, sight unseen, without question. And I think that goes back to the comfort that, hey, I got a brother up the road. He's having some issues. We're going to go fire some rounds. One guy's you know, gun is another guy's basketballs, and it's his place. It's where you can find your flow. And hey, let's get him out there. Let's reintegrate him. Let's wake him up a little bit.
Okay, back in just a second.